As I'm sure you all know, because it's all anybody has really been talking about for the last couple of days, the fact that Nintendo have raised their prices of their games yet again, and obviously I have thoughts, none of which are positive. And I know that when it comes to topics like this, I tend to just go on angry rants, but I'm going to try and stay as calm as I possibly can throughout however long this video will end up being. But the title of the video pretty much sums up how I'm feeling. The video game industry is killing itself, and I just really don't care anymore. Video game prices are going up. Tens of thousands of game developers are being laid off what feels like every other week, even if their work is successful. AI is being used in games to replace these workers. Prices for PC parts are rising, console prices are rising, and nobody is benefiting from this besides the fuck-ass millionaire corpos, and frankly, I am sick to death of it. I am at the point now where if you are charging so much as £1, which is basically like $1, more than 70, which is already an insane asking price for a base game video game, I'm simply not playing your game. Especially if it is a mobile-looking ass game, like half of Nintendo's horseshit that they spew out. Also, let me just very quickly mention, obviously I don't put my face in my videos, so I don't know what I'm even going to put in this video. It will probably just be random gameplay that I have saved. So if you're watching like Cyberpunk footage and I'm not talking about Cyberpunk, that's why. But anyway, look, I'm going to be honest. I really don't care about Nintendo personally. Like, I'm just not a huge fan of their games. I had no plans to get a Switch 2 because I got my original Switch for like £250 years ago. And I still, after all these years, feel like I haven't gotten my money's worth. And that's not me just trying to shit on Nintendo. Like, I'm just giving you my genuine thoughts. Unless it's a Gen 1 Pokemon game or an Animal Crossing game, I really just don't care about Nintendo. But that's just me personally. But the issue isn't even that. The issue is what this is going to do to the games industry as a whole. If these games end up being a huge success, $80 to $90 will become the new normal, and it's just disgusting. You know, it's honestly more disgusting on a Nintendo Switch because, let's be honest, the Switch mostly is a kid's console. Like, again, for the most part, right? Like, yes, adults play it, adults can play it, there's nothing wrong with that. But children play their Switches constantly. And $80 is not fucking pocket money for the usual kid. That's like birthday money at the most, like at the very most. Not to mention the fact that Switch games almost never go on sale, but I will go more into that later on in this video. It's really difficult to get like all of my thoughts out in like a normal video sort of lineup or format, right? Where I just go from point 1 to point 2 to point 3 and then wrap it up. Because I have so many thoughts on this, but overall, it just saddens me. Video games used to be like £40 for a fully finished game with no microtransactions. And now most games are £70, they're unfinished, you've got to pre-order and then pay extra to play the game early on an even more unfinished version of said game. Most games these days have microtransactions. Even fucking Bethesda and Mojang are charging for mods on their games. And it's just pathetic that we keep supporting this shit. These fucking scumbags are already millionaires. There is no justifiable reason as to why they need to raise their prices again. And like I said, £70 is already an insane asking price, especially when most games nowadays are fucking horseshit. And I'm at the point where if it wouldn't get my entire channel taken down, I would honestly be making tutorials on how you can sail the high seas, because I am fucking sick of this. When these games, man, I said I was going to stay calm, but look, when these games release and they become successful because idiots are going to keep supporting it, what do you think is actually going to happen? GTA 6 charges the same amount and then probably charges $100+ for a deluxe edition and becomes the most sold game of all time. When that's successful, every company is going to follow suit, because they now know that they can get away with it. They're going to say, thanks Rockstar for showing us that we can get away with charging an insane amount of price to our idiot fans. GTA 6 is one of my most anticipated games ever. I promise you on my life, if it is so much more than £1 more than £70, I'm not fucking playing it even if Rockstar send it to me for free just out of principle. This might be a hot take. I don't care. No video game is worth $70. And that's the normal asking price now. In 10 years, when they're asking for £120 for a game, you can track it back down to this. The price hike up to 70 was bad enough, and we all stupidly supported it. This, for me, is the final straw. If this becomes the norm, I'm fucking done with this industry. Like, I will just go back and replay all of my old games. I will just go back to Skyrim or Baldur's Gate 3 for another 1,000 hours. New games are not a necessity that we all need. They're just nice. I was saying on our Discord server just yesterday, remember how I mentioned at the start of this year that this could be an amazing year for video games just because we have Doom the Dark Ages, Ghost of Yotei, and possibly GTA 6 coming out. Yeah, just because 3 good-looking games are releasing in 1 year. Now think back to the days of 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, when we would get like 10 to 15 good games and then like 10 great games every year. They do not give a fucking shit about us anymore. Game devs, most of the time, aren't even making games that they're passionate about. They're being forced to work on garbage that corpos think will sell well, like Concord. And then they're all getting fired. Not laid off, let's call it what it is and not hide behind nicer, softer words. Fired. But you know what I am enjoying? This backlash. Even content creators that I think are honestly just wastes of human space are calling out this price hike, and I hope to God that you all continue to keep that energy. Look, let me just calm down a little bit and get really sincere for a minute. I am not an important person. I am not someone that the games industry should be taking advice from by any means necessary. I don't know the first thing about making a video game. I don't know the first thing about running a dev team or anything like that. I sit on my ass playing and recording video games and talking about them every week, and I call it work. But I am such a huge fan of this industry. I love the video game experience. But I am just simply at the point where I just want to say fuck you to this entire industry. And I know it doesn't sound like it, but I seriously have so much love and so much passion for this industry. I know people in this industry. Then again, I know countless others who have been laid off due to corporate greed in this industry in the last few years. The issue is game companies are no longer asking, how can we give the players the best experience possible? They're asking, how can we make more money? That's the problem. Should we make great games so they sell well, like Baldur's Gate 3 proved? If you make a great game, it will do well. Nah, let's just sell mediocre, broken, unfinished crap for nearly $100 and call it a day. That's it. That's their baseline. They do not give a fucking shit about the actual player anymore. And dude, the fact that we are now charging like $90 for a physical game and the data isn't even 100% on the disc is insane. This industry is going to crash and burn to the ground, and I don't even care anymore. And something that I mentioned earlier that nobody else seems to be talking about is that Xbox and PlayStation sell their games for £70, which, yeah, is disgusting, but they go on sale. Nintendo games almost never go on sale, like ever. I don't think I have ever once booted up my Switch and seen a game on sale in the years that I've had it. Either way, it doesn't matter what platform you're on. $80 to $90 for any video game is fucking criminal. It is an insane asking price, and there are these fucking brainless, moronic bungalows that are still waiting and willing to support it. Still willing to buy games for these insane prices because they are too thick and too stupid to understand the consequences of supporting this bullshit. And honestly, it's more than just the new asking price. They're charging for a goddamn tutorial game on the Switch 2. Imagine if when you got your PS5, you had to pay for Astro's Playroom. Like, no, dude. Look, frankly, I don't care how big of a fan you are for a certain franchise or company. You should not be paying this much for a video game, full stop. You all know how much I love Fallout. Like, if you subscribe to me, you know how much I love Fallout. Fallout means more to me than most people in my life. And I promise you on my life, I will not be touching the next Fallout game if it is more than £70. And like I said at the start of this video, I only paid £250 for my Switch, and in all the years I've had it, I still don't feel like I've gotten my money's worth. Quite frankly, for me personally, no Nintendo game is worth even £40, let alone fucking 80. I just don't even know what to say about this anymore. Nothing we say or do matters, because there are still idiots out there willing to support this shit. It's not going to change, and the games industry will eventually kill itself. I guess let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below, but I really have nothing else to say. I'm sad, I'm pissed off, and I've just had enough. Anyway, as always, a huge, massive thank you and shout out to all of our amazing channel members. Your continued support means the absolute world, guys. So thank you so much for sticking with me month after month. But that will do it for me today. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in our next video. Peace.